I challenge you to rethink any belief where you had to shrink to fit in. I challenge you to rethink it, and I challenge you to reframe it. It's time to reframe a lot of the negative beliefs and the negative thoughts that you've had in your mind about yourself, about where you want to go, about where you've been. Hi, I'm Gonsalves-Barriero, and welcome to Shaping Success, where on this channel, we talk about personal growth, about faith, about mindset, and living your best life in the years that you have remaining. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today. And today I want to talk about taking up space. Because growing up, I always used to hear, children should be seen and not heard. And that always remained with me. The thing about that phrase, though, is that it made me shrink myself. It made me shrink myself. It caused me to be fearful of speaking up and speaking out, even when injustices were being done to me. Sometimes, even as an adult, I still had to psych myself up to do and to speak out because it had been so ingrained in me that, listen, what is happening here does not concern you. And so I never learned how to advocate for myself. I never learned how to articulate what I needed and what I wanted. I just simply accepted what was from the person who was giving me what they gave me and not necessarily what I wanted. And so today I want to talk about that, taking up space. What does it mean to take up space? Why should you take up space? Do women need to take up more space? And these are all a few questions that I'm going to look at today because, number one, we do need to take up space. But what does it mean to take up space? We're often taught that taking up space can be seen as egotistical. It can be seen as disruptive. It can be seen as doing too much. But what if we were to flip the script and see that taking up space means that you ought to speak up, let your voice be heard, that you ought to be more of who you were created in this space, in this place, in this arena to be. Because taking up space is actually more about recognizing your worth. Your worth. It's more about recognizing your worth and showing up fully in your life. And if at whatever age you are at the time of this video, you understand that, hey, I feel there's still so much more for me to accomplish, but, because the but sometimes denigrates what you said before. So don't say, I feel like I have so much to accomplish, but don't put a but there. I feel like I have so much more to accomplish, and I am going to do whatever it takes to get me to that next stage in my life. My coach, Kara Jones, said, when we shrink ourselves, we give up our voice, our potential, and even our happiness. Because when we as women take up less space, we tend to shrink, hide, and hold back. And the cost is far too high. Taking up space is not about overshadowing others. It really isn't, because guess what? There is so much space for everybody to operate in. There is so much space for you to operate, for me to operate, for your friend, for your mother, for your brother, for your pastor, for your sister, for the president, for the prime minister, for whomever else to operate in. Space is infinite. It's there. It's just that enough of us are not stepping up and taking what is rightfully ours and stamping our authority on the space that has been provided for us. Another thing I need to add is when it comes to taking up space, a lot of times we look at our past, the lives we once lived, the situations that we experienced, the losses, the heartbreaks, the the downsides that we're not too fond of speaking about. We look at those things and think that they disqualify us from from taking up the space that we should. But here's the thing about it, that everybody has had experiences, and I don't care how good that person is. I don't care how saved that person is. I don't care how high and lofty that person has made it in life. Everybody has had circumstances and situations that shaped them into who they've become. I've had them, and so have you. The thing is, learning from those situations, owning the stories from those situations, and then building upon them and taking up the space where you can stand and say, hey, I did this, I lived this, these are the lessons learned, and this is what I want to teach you. Because when we own our past, we are laying the foundation for a stronger future. Yes, nobody's saying to go back to the past, but learn from it. What are the lessons that I have learned from all of these things? And then how can I learn from them and grow from them? Because it makes no sense learning a lesson and not, well, receiving a lesson and not learning from it. You have to learn the lesson. If not, you're bound to repeat it over and over again. Yeah? So learn the lesson that life and God is teaching you. 5 practical steps for taking up space. And this is going to be an action plan that you can follow today to help get you to that next stage, that next step in your life. Number 1, acknowledge your right to space. You're alive. You're on this earth. You have the breath of life. You walk around. You have a right to be in this space that you've dreamt of, the space that you've always wanted to be. It's your right. It's your birthright. You don't need to earn this space. So start by giving yourself permission to act in this space. Number 2, own your words. Speak up. Stop holding on to fear. Don't let fear fuel your future. Don't let fear prevent you from stepping into that future. Speak up, let your voice be heard. Take ownership of what is rightfully yours. You were created to be here, to live this life right in this specific moment. Don't let anybody or anything stop you from doing it. Number 3, embrace visibility. Show up, be seen, whether it is online, in social settings, on the job, even at home. Show up, be visible. Don't be afraid to be seen, because taking up space means showing up fully in every situation that you find yourself in. Number 4, bet on you. Bet on yourself. Girl, bet on yourself. Bruh, bet on you. Nobody else is going to bet on you. Nobody else. Listen, your spouse loves you. Your parents love you. Love you. Maybe your employers, maybe they do love you. But very seldom are they going to bet on you. You have to weigh the risks, weigh the pros, weigh the cons. Bet on yourself. Take a risk on you. That's the only way that you are going to show up in the space that you've always been dreaming about, and show up in the space where you can dominate and be the best that you can be. And number 5, challenge the norm. Flip the script. Taking up space doesn't have to be forceful. It can be charming. It can be subtle. and it can be completely and uniquely yours. There are a variety of ways that you can do that. And whatever the space is, you show up and be uniquely you. You have your own way of doing things. Hey, it's you. There's no law in the world that says a particular thing must be done a particular way. So show up and be uniquely you. For too many of us, the idea of taking up space triggers shame, it triggers guilt. We worry about being too much or taken away from others while shrinking ourselves, while limiting our own abilities. But by claiming your space, you're giving others permission to do the same. You are. I've wanted to launch a YouTube channel for more than a year, and I've found all sorts of excuses not to do so. I don't have the right equipment. I don't have lighting. I don't have a camera. I only have a phone. I don't have a proper space. And I found all sorts of excuses. I need to make sure I have my hair done right. I need to make sure I have makeup on all the time. I need to make sure that, hey, yeah, I'm kind of missing a few things here. And I'm like, that has held me back a lot. But the thing is, my voice needs to be heard because what I'm saying, a lot of people are crying out for. My voice needs to be heard. And my excuses don't matter. It is either I take up the space that I need to take up or somebody else would claim that space, would claim that space for me. And the thing is, nobody can do what I do the way that I do it. This is, I can't do what you do the way that you do it. And it doesn't matter. There will always be somebody who can do it better than you, but they can't do it like you. The thing is, learn to do what you have to do and do it with excellence so that that is your trademark. So that whenever anyone sees you, they know, hey, boom, that girl, she rocks. That woman, oh my goodness, that brother, hey, he's off the chains. Yeah? So don't be afraid. Stop being afraid. Don't let fear fuel your future because it's not going to get far. It's going to eventually, it's going to die. It's going to die. It's going to die. So if you've ever felt like you've had to minimize yourself to fit in, have you? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever had to minimize yourself to fit in? Maybe for a significant other because they may have felt threatened by your potential. They may have felt that, you know what, they don't believe in what you're bringing to the table. And so you're like, you know what, okay, let me step back a bit because X doesn't like that. Let me step back a bit because they're not supportive. And hey, if that has happened to you, it's okay. This is a judgment-free zone, completely judgment-free, because a lot of us, sadly, have been there. But if you've ever had that situation where you've had to shrink yourself to fit in, now is the time to kill that. Now is the time to end that. Now is the time to firmly say to yourself, self, I'm no longer living in fear. I'm no longer shrinking to fit in. I will no longer be that wallflower that's just waiting for the sunshine to shine and to allow me to thrive. No. Now's not the time for that, sis. Nah. You wasted too many years on things, on people, and on situations that don't matter anymore. I challenge you to rethink any belief where you had to shrink to fit in. I challenge you to rethink it, and I challenge you to reframe it. It's time to reframe a lot of the negative beliefs and the negative thoughts that you've had in your mind about yourself, about where you want to go, about where you've been. Doesn't matter where you've come from. What matters is where you're going and who you're going there with. Because going there with the wrong sets of people is only going to cause you grief. So surround yourself with people who have the same mindset as you. Surround yourself with people who have the same belief systems and value systems as you. Surround yourself with people who are going to encourage you and root for you at the end of the day, no matter what. Surround yourself with the right kind of people. Surround yourself with them. That's why I'm inviting you to my masterclass, From Setbacks to Success. 3 ways to build your resilient self and thrive. It's happening on December 5th at 8 p.m. I look forward to seeing you there. Link in the description to sign up, because we are going to challenge this idea that you should not be taking up space. Challenge the ideas of how to own your worth and stand up for who you truly are and to shine. Because listen, if you're already in your 40s, half of your life is already behind of you. You have to, it is. Half your life is already behind of you. Let's thrive in the final years that we have. Thrive. And if you're still in your 20s, it's time to look forward to the rest of your life with hope, my sister. It's time. So, link in the comments, sign up to register, and be a part of what is happening, because you don't want to miss it. Yeah? Peace out. Remember, taking up space is not about taking from others. It's about giving yourself permission to thrive. You matter, your voice matters, and your presence is a gift to the world.